the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy. That is a Dutch development think tank. And since my work is a little bit closer with politics than it is with business, and ISEC is an organization about youth leadership in general, I'll bring one perspective from that area of work, right? So we work a lot with political parties at NIMD, and we try to make them better organizations. And we would probably all agree that good political parties are important for a democracy, right? Because parties should govern, they should represent people, and if they're bad, then governance is bad and representation is not effective, and we all suffer. And well, recognizing that parties are weak institutionally in Georgia, they answer to the questions of why they are weak. And when they're surveyed, they say lack of qualified human resources is #1 reason. Okay, if that is the #1 reason why we have so many problems in that area, why young people are not interested then to engage? So who would fill up those human resources if not qualified young people? But young people are not interested. They think politics is corrupt. They think it's not attractive to take that career route, and they abstain. But if we actually look at the recent history of our country, we will see that the biggest changes that we have faced and we have achieved were largely driven by young people, but they have not been then later rewarded in their political careers, and that's that. Okay, few young people in governance is one of the realities that we face, and one of the realities that we should change, I believe, and you are the ones who will do it. Obviously, today's event is more about youth and business and about unemployment. And I'm not an economist, but I'm sure that our unemployment numbers are really high. Depending on how you count it, our unemployment numbers are either bad or terrible. So in the general surveys, 60% of the people say that they don't have a job. Okay, and it seems to me that that number is even higher when it comes to young people. So we are all part of a modest economy, a small-scale economy, and we have to grow really fast if we want to join the ranks of those rich and prosperous nations. But are we doing that well? Are we really growing fast enough? I'm not sure. Last night I was looking up some of the rankings and some of the numbers that I want to share with you, just very briefly. Like one of them was the ranking of World Economic Forum. So they basically look at the data and rank countries based on their competitiveness. So your competitiveness, I guess, depends on how productive you are. And World Economic Forum says that we are number 69. So they have 5 general groups, 3 main groups, and 2 transitional ones, from first to second group and from second to third, and we're in the middle. So we are better than really poor nations, so we're not a factor-driven economy, they say, but we're also not an innovation-driven economy. So we're not productive and competitive enough, we're not innovative enough, we're somewhere in the middle. We are efficiency-driven economy, as they call it. And on another index, Global Innovation Index, run by one of the UN agencies and Cornell University in the United States, we are somewhere 75th, I think, out of 143 nations when it comes to innovation in general. But they have subsections, and if you look at human capital, quality of professional resources in that country, we are even lower. We're number 90 out of 143. So that doesn't sound great to me, and I would not be really innovative if I would say that education is part of the answer here. Okay, so if well, I'm not too conservative in the sense to say that you really need a diploma to be successful. We know some big names who have done well without it, but in general, on aggregate sense, education is a big indicator and a determinant of how things are going on, I think. And also, okay, and I try to look at the rankings there. And it may sound cynical, but I opened up Times Best University Rankings, and it turns out they only feature 400 schools. Okay, and of course, none of the Georgian colleges were on the top 400 list. I think the best ranking Georgian university is somewhere near 1600 spot in the overall ranking. Well, we have more than 70 universities, but okay, the best one is somewhere there. But to be fair, we have to say that things have been improving. The situation was much worse before. It's becoming better, and hopefully it will continue to be so. And one more snapshot is about math and sciences. We really have to do well in math and sciences if we're going to innovate and compete, right? And so the best ranking I could find featured OECD and OECD partner countries, so 74 of them in total. And on math ranking, Georgia was number 65. And on science, number 69, if I remember it correctly. So that's pretty low. But I'm not here to say the situation is bad and terrible. No, but that's the reality that we face. And that is the reality that we have to change. So you have to change, right? So what we face today doesn't have to be the future that we live in, correct? That would be pretty much in the ISEC spirit. So I have some of the questions. I have more questions than I have answers. I hope many of you have a lot of questions as well. And it is my expectation that with the speakers, with the experts that will be addressing you throughout the day and running workshops with you, we all will be able to find at least some of the answers to them, okay? And on that note, I would like to introduce the main partners for this event and then invite them to the stage for opening remarks and introductions. Okay, let's look at the partners. So the main partners for this event are Bechtel Enka Joint Ventures, ISAT, also Georgia's youth delegates to the United Nations, Microsoft, Free University, Coca-Cola, TBSC, ISI, ICC, World Vision, Empresa, Marketer, and Idea Hub. So these will be the people who will be spending the day with you in trying to help out and sharing their experience. Okay, for the start, let me invite to the stage a Bechtel Enka representative, Dr. Roy Woodward.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me here today. I'm accompanied with my wife, Deborah, by the way. Our 39th wedding anniversary is this month. And we have 3 children which are raised, although our youngest is still in university in the United States. And so we're very aware and very keen on working with young people and the challenges that they face. We've been here in Georgia and Tbilisi since August now. We've enjoyed it very much. We appreciate this. So go ahead, and I'm going to talk about this. Yeah. Talk a little bit about Bechtel and Enka. As was mentioned, we're a joint venture. Bechtel is, who I work for, is the largest construction company in the United States. Although we're headquartered in the United States, it was begun by the Bechtel family in 1898, just a small local doing construction work, but it's still, even now, owned by the Bechtel family. You cannot buy stock in Bechtel on the stock market or anything. They still control it. And the headquarters is still in San Francisco, California, but we have offices throughout the world, and it's really become a global company. At any one time, we probably have about 50,000 employees, and we do construction. We build big things. We won't build a few houses or something like that. Typically, Bechtel wouldn't usually even bid on a job under maybe $1 billion in value. So big refineries and airports and dams and things like that. The company, of course, is dominated by engineers, but of course, lots of other specialties and business people. I happen to be the manager for health, safety, and environmental work, and also social on the project here, and using my background in that kind of work. Bechtel last year probably did in the order of 20 to 30 billion dollars of work in the world. Now, of course, if we go with the economy like everything does, with the price of oil down, like, you know, big capital projects have slowed down. Inca is the largest Turkish company, and we have teamed with Inca for over 30 years now on projects. Not all of our projects, they do some without us, and we do most of our projects without them. But in this part of the world, we often team with Inca, where we often provide the technical background of engineering and stuff, and they provide the construction expertise. I'm here now because we're working on a project for BP. As you know, they have a big presence in the country, and they're moving gas from the Caspian Sea on into Europe. And they have other oil lines, of course. Georgia's in the perfect position that these things have to come through here on their way. And I'm sure there'll be many future projects in the future. They're doing expansions right now, the new gas movement. Our project, we're building 3 stations that pump the gas. We're not building the pipeline. There's another group that's actually building some additions to the existing pipeline. But we're building some big factory type things with lots of pipes and pumps and such like that. And we're just beginning the work now. This slide shows the mega project that's actually taking place that will move the gas from near Baku all the way into southern Italy. Again, our portion on it right now is just the part in Georgia, and they show a couple of the locations of the pumping stations that we're building. One's near Gardabani, one's near Salka, and the other is near Wale, near Akosiki. And 3 things that we're doing. The project, again, we've just started last year, kind of getting organized, and we're still in a very early phase of the job. All of it's supposed to be complete by early 2018. At peak, we'll have about 2,000 workers at the 3 different sites, and an office here, the headquarters here in Tbilisi may have 100 or so people here. Out of that group, there'll only be about 12 Bechtel people in country working on the job. Even though we're running the job per se, we count very, very much on hiring local expertise and workers. At least 2/3 of the field staff workers we plan to be Georgian. There'll be certain technical expertise, and certain people will have to come in, and our Turkish partner, of course, will bring people, but we rely very much on working with Georgian experts. And my staff, environmental safety and health, currently half my people are Georgian. And we're trying to even recruit more as the work grows. We'll need some more help. So these are just some pictures of the work that's going on, or the activities that have gone on so far. Like I say, we're in a very early stage right now. The sites pretty much just look like flat areas. We do have to build construction camps. That's a picture 1 up at the top at each of our sites where the workers can live, and they'll have recreation facilities and canteens to eat, things like that. We've completed 1 of the camps. We'll have to build 3 more though still at the other locations, and a lot to do. Thank you. So what does it take to get a job? Well, that's what we're going to talk on some more today. I'm not going to lecture on that right now. I just wanted to introduce the company, but we have a workshop we tried to put together, and later, hopefully in the panel discussion, give you my opinion, a little insight on that. I've been through what you've been through. I've been scared. I've been discouraged. I know even in the United States, nothing comes easy. So there's things we can all do, and we have to help each other together. And so hopefully we'll do that today. And thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. So let me invite Shota Murtspaladze from Microsoft to the stage.
Well, I didn't know that my picture will be on slides. So. But anyway, so I will have to use my phone for some notes because because I prepared something for you. But first, good morning. And I want to tell you that when I was coming this morning here, I was recalling some public perception about this university some 10 years ago. And in contrast of what it was then, the university is now perceived as one of the best learning centers in Georgia. And I think this is because of one Georgian entrepreneur who believed that change is possible. And these words are tribute to Mr. Bendupidze, who played a huge role together with his team to create a very successful case as this university is now, at least for Georgia, but I hope it will be a success in a world ranking also soon. So, and you see this development in other universities as well. So in Georgia also, as the competition raises, they're offering different courses, they're offering like exchange programs, international partnerships, and this is the same as in the rest of the world. But still, today's youth, you all face opportunity challenges. So issues to access skills and trainings need to be successful. So there is more than 75 million unemployed youth all over the world, and Georgia is among them also. So we all need, and such companies and universities, public sector will need to work to secure the future of our youth and future of the local and global economy also. So I'm talking more about educational part because I myself represent Microsoft in education for Georgia. So Microsoft invests quite a lot in education all over the world. More than 10 years already. We do lots of, even 15 years, we do lots of projects in different countries. In Georgia, we have already established more than 5 years. We established different partnerships, public-private partnerships together with ministry, with other companies, with academic sector. So I will somehow talk about those skills that usually are demanded by companies that are hiring people. So I think this is a very important topic for youth. As I mentioned, the unemployment of youth is huge all over the world, and also in Georgia. So there are plenty of initiatives all over in the world that help youth succeed. And one of them is ISAC, organizing all these events. Microsoft partners with ISAC on a global level, and they do a good job to support millions of young people to realize their talent and potential. And ISAC is a worldwide community of highly motivated young talents who are taking lead of changing not only their, but the lives of others around them, making real impact in local communities and global stage. So thank you to ISAC, working here in Georgia also and making this day happen. So what are the skills that are important to succeed in your career? What hiring companies are looking for? So what is the most important you need to master to become demanded, whether it will be corporation or public sector or social enterprise? It applies also if you are planning to have your own business. So I will list some of the skills. So this will not be something special. You will know this, but I think and I believe that repeating time after time, all this, and thinking about this all the time for you is very important. So, last question, the skill of communication. So, communication is heart of all human interaction. So, and in 21st century, developing technologies, so they created new opportunities for communication, whether it's spoken, written, visual, multimodal, anytime. As a result, the need of effective communication is no longer limited to language classes or journalism career. So the communication is important for students for use in every area. And in their future jobs, range from any office worker to scientist to lawyer. They need to communicate clearly and persuasively with a variety of audiences and subjects. So, another skill, collaboration. Nothing special, but in a traditional schooling, we all know and we all face it, yeah? And in most countries, students do their work when they learn something, and they do their own work and they receive their own grades. And this model does not prepare them well for the workplace in the future, where they are likely to work on teams with others to accomplish tasks that are too complex for individuals to handle. In today's world of interconnected world of business, real projects work often requires collaboration across companies or with people in different parts of the world, like these construction companies working with many suppliers, with many partners to accomplish one single task, big task for our country. So collaboration happens when people have shared responsibility for their work and they make substantial decisions together and still staying independent in their expertise. One more skill that is very critical, it's knowledge construction. I'm not sure if you thought about this, but usually school activities require students to learn and produce information they're just given. Certainly, it is essential to get some knowledge in a certain domain, but just memorization only doesn't give students the critical thinking and reasoning skills that they will need to succeed in the knowledge-based organizations. So, with information so readily available through the internet, so employees, future employees, entrepreneurs, must be able to integrate and evaluate information in order to use them productively in the work. Most of the job now demand higher level of expertise than it was before. And the ability to apply your existing knowledge to new situations and new problems is critical. So this is the part of knowledge construction, so you need to think about it. One more skill that is that we shouldn't underestimate, because it's all over there. This is use of information and communication technologies. We live in a connected world with unprecedented access to vast amount of digital information and experiences. The use of technology continues to transform our lives, the way how we live and how we work. So individuals increasingly need skills not only to intelligently consume information and ideas, but also design and create new information and ideas using information and communication technologies. So you can hardly find any job description without requirement to have skills in ICT. In fact, the competencies in Microsoft Office, for example, is the most demanded after communication skills, as IDC research says. And one more, I'm missing some, but listing some very important ones: self-regulation, which is very important for us, also for Georgians. Today's world demands self-regulating thinkers and learners who can take responsibility of their lives, who can take responsibility of their work and their ongoing learning. I'd say lifelong learning. This is an ability to function in 21st century workplace, and I'm sure Bechtel is one of them, where people are expected to work with minimal supervision, planning and monitoring their own work, designing their own work products and incorporating feedback to improve the quality of those products, meaning the result of their work. So, what I'd say, first start with learning yourself. Speak to peers, speak to professionals, enjoy today's event, and have fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Shota. Now I would like to invite Eric Lively, President of ISET, to the stage.
It works. So my name is Eric. In the background, I represent ISET, the International School of Economics, in Tbilisi, at Tbilisi State University. I could be spending my time here telling you that we are the best economics institution in this country, but I will not do that. I could also tell you that we are running an admissions campaign now, so we are admitting new students for our master's program, but I will also not talk about that. I want to focus on something else. Unlike Irakli Kobalia, I am an economist. He said he is not, I am. And one thing the economists don't do, I mean, we don't teach how to make money, unlike what some of you may think we do. So economics is not about how to make money, but economics is actually quite useful in knowing what? In making decisions, making choices, okay? And you guys are now 22, 23, 21. So this is a stage in your life when you're making some very important decisions, okay? So what kind of decision you're about to make? Career, education, right? So I would like to talk about this particular choice that you are going to be making, and I would like to give you some advice how to make this choice in a smart way, as an economist. Okay, now all of you have probably seen the show Who Wants to Become a Millionaire, right? Anybody who hasn't seen the show? I have. There's even a movie, Slumdog Millionaire, in which this show has been popularized. Okay, so in this show, if you know the answer, there's a problem with the microphone. Okay, in this show, if you know the answer, you just say it, whatever it is. If you don't, and you face three options, you can choose to eliminate one option. And this is actually very good. It's really something that helps you reduce, there's a background noise. It's really annoying.
Try backing up, back up about 3 steps so you don't get feedback.
Okay, how about that? Okay, so you can eliminate one option. Is it any better? It is. So you can eliminate one option, and that is good, so you're left with two. Something else you can do, you can call your friend. You can call your father, your brother, your older friend, and maybe he or she would know the answer. And that is also something good. And then you can do the third thing, and you know what it is, you can ask the audience. Yes? You can ask the audience. So let's say you are facing the choice of what kind of education to acquire. you are now 17, 18, or maybe 21, and you have the choice of different fields that you want to enter. And the question is, do you think that appealing to the audience, asking the audience is a good idea? Anybody think this is a good idea? Yes, you think it is a good idea? Okay, let's see. How many of you have studied business administration in this audience? Raise your hands. Business administration, management, anything, something related? Lots of hands, lots of hands. Okay, now I am an employer now. Okay, I have a position, let's say, what is the position I'm looking to hire? Manager. Okay, who wants to apply for the manager position in my company? It's a good company, you know, we pay a lot of money. Guys, come on, raise your hands. You want? Okay, so, and all of you have, what kind of background all of you have? You are all business administration majors, business administration major, business administration management major. You are not. What are you? You're also management. Well, it's all the same, you know. I have a hard time deciding among you. Maybe there's somebody with a different background. Somebody studied psychology, maybe. Anybody? Oh, there's some psychologists. Okay. Rocket science, anybody? Paul? Yeah, there's one rocket scientist here. Okay, anybody else? Maybe some engineering, IT, any programming engineers. Okay, anybody studied mathematics? One hand, mathematics? No, mathematicians are supposed to be smart. You know, if you study mathematics, if you have a piece of paper that says I studied mathematics, at the very least, it suggests that you are smart. And only one person here in this whole, the only one, right? Only one person has a piece of paper saying he is smart. Isn't it sad in a way? Okay. You know, employment is a game of signaling. Okay, you want to get a job. At the first stage, before you get the interview, you send your resume. And this is a game of, we call it in economics, signaling. You send a signal to your potential future employer who you are and what's special about you, okay? Now, the special thing about you could be how you look. So some people I know, when I get resumes, some people put their picture on the resume. I don't particularly like that, but some people do that, and they think that maybe they look in a very special way, and that's why they will get hired. Other people, well, what would be special about them? Some of them may be an ISEC fellow, what is it called? An ISEC network member. That actually could be quite special because it says that you are a member of some kind of international activity, you may have been abroad, you may have been exposed to different kind of culture, different kind of environment. That's not bad. But of course, also very important would be the kind of educational background you have. And so you do want to have on your CV something that is a little bit different than what everybody else have. And in this sense, you know, the signal of business administration is a very weak signal. It's a signal that I don't know what to do with. When I face, you know, 200 resumes or 100 resumes and everybody have the same, that it's not a good signal. It's a very noisy, as we say, it's a very noisy signal. So you want to signal your quality in some other way. You know, making choices is very tough. It's very tough. And unfortunately in Georgia, this is my own observation, unfortunately people feel like they have to make the educational choice very early in their lives. So they feel like they have to make this choice at the age of 17. So when you are 17 or 18, you graduate from high school, and you think, okay, now I have to decide what I'm going to be. I want to become a businessman, so I'm going to go study business administration, or I'm going to be an engineer, so I'm going to study engineering at the age of 17. Now, what may happen to many of you at the age of 19 or at the age of 20 is that you will discover that the choice you've made at 17 or 18 is actually not a very good choice. You may discover that you opted at 18 for engineering, but either don't have the skills for it, or you don't really like it, or there's something else that really can excite you, okay? So what I would like to tell you, and I told my son just a few months ago the same exactly thing. He's a bit older than you, but I'm from Israel, and my son is also an Israeli, so he started his BA at the age of 23, not like here at the age of 17. So I told him, even though you're 23, not 17, I told him, look, take your time. If you don't know what you want to become when you grow up, take your time, and instead of focusing on skills that you want to acquire now, focus on getting an education. Getting an education is like not making a decision on which direction to take now. It's like delaying this choice a little bit by 2-3 years, okay? Until a time when you may know yourself a little bit better. Okay, so this kind of decision to acquire an education as opposed to very specific, narrow professional skills at the age of 18 or 20, this may be actually a very good choice. And therefore, I would very much encourage people to study even history and philosophy when they are 18, and study mathematics. That's another kind of education that you can acquire. And only then, later, once you know who you are, only then make the choice of a profession. Sometimes it's good not to decide, not to call your friend, not to eliminate options too early in your life, and not to listen to the wisdom of crowds, but just take a bit more time to decide. Now, one way not to decide is also to join ISEC, yes, and go abroad, go join and do an internship, learn more about yourself. So it's not just about education, it's also about doing different things you have not done before, meet other people, try different cultures, and in this way, again, understand the world better, understand yourself, and only then make a more informed choice about career and all these things that ultimately we have to decide. But it's good not to decide too early. It's like not getting married too early. I'm married too early, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, I will end right here. I promised not to speak about ISEC too much. ISEC is almost like ISEC, but I kept my promise. So thank you very much, and I wish you luck today. We'll be here for the rest of the day with some of the workshops.
Thank you very much, Eric. Many interesting points to take down, indeed. And now I would like to invite a former ISEC alumnus, youth ambassador of Georgia to the United Nations, Lasha Shatwati.
Thank you very much, first of all, for coming here today. I hope that this rainy day going to turn into a very pleasant time for you today. I usually like to say that my life is basically divided into parts. There's like one before ISEC, and then there is another one after ISEC. I joined the organization when I was 17, just right after the high school back in 2007. And I was a very passionate member of the organization, if I have done something in my life, if I've learned anything, if I have gone abroad, if I have done internships, or like basically like my whole world was open in front of me thanks to ISEC. And I always talk about how passionate I am about this organization and how much I want to encourage every young person to take this opportunity and to become the member. My name is Lasha, as you can see there. So I'm the youth representative delegate ambassador of Georgia to the United Nations. This is an official UN mandate which gives young people an opportunity to represent the young people of their country at the United Nations, to address the General Assembly, to participate in different high-level meetings all around the world. I also work quite actively to spread out the youth representative program in the world. I work with different governments and I try to encourage them to take this opportunity. One question I get usually when I speak about the UN, when I say where I work, is just the common thing. How did you get to the UN? Like, how can I end up at the UN? Well, that's amazing. How can I do the same thing? So, and I tell them the story, like how I ended up at this organization, and it's very much connected into something I do. So when I was applying for the program and I was writing my speech for the final competition part to become the youth representative, I spent the whole night. Do you know how that happens? You need to write something and you have a week, but it's so important for you that you cannot concentrate till the last, to the last day. And then that last day goes to midnight, and then you find yourself at 2 o'clock, everybody is asleep, you want to sleep as well, and you spend a lot of time on social media, and you have to write your speech, because that speech will decide what you're gonna do next day. So I could never imagine that I would get the biggest inspiration of my life from that person. So I decided to play the song in YouTube to just calm down myself and maybe to look something. I watched all the Isaac inspirational videos, didn't get anything out, nothing I hadn't done before. So I decided to listen to the song Moon River, which is played by the girl who took us to Rome and then who invited us to have breakfast with her at Tiffany's. So I listened to Audrey Hepburn. So the song was amazing. It really calmed me down. And in that moment, it was like 4:30, like at night. And I was like, Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn has been the UN peace ambassador. So like I automatically went into Wikipedia. I think I was the only person in this country that has Googled Audrey Hepburn as a UN person, not as an actress. So it popped up her interview, which she gave when she came back from Africa, where she served on the UNICEF mission. She was working with kids in Somalia. So she said that something I'm very convinced about this world is that there are too many resources and too little human will to do something. I think those words were the best thing for a young person at the age of 23 to listen to, and that automatically completely changed my understanding. And next morning I made the speech completely out of the typical format, like speaking in a very, very traditional way. So then when I got the position, I went all around the country. I was meeting with young people and asking them, okay, what do you want me to talk about at the UN? And okay, what do you want me to raise? What are your concerns? So they were telling me all the stories, and then they were giving me the question, okay, I tell you what are my problems, but what are you going to do about my problems? Are you just going to be listening to me? And this is some of the issues that you as a youth worker is going to have, like people coming and asking you, okay, you get me into ISIC, but what do I get back? Like, what would you give to me? So I had this very interesting meeting in Baku with one of the government officials from Albania. And he told me a story. He was very secular, but he told me a story from the Bible, which I find to be so inspiring. So the story is about a master that decides to leave for a while, and he calls his servants. So 3 of his servants come to the room. So and in that story, he gives some part of the wealth, which is called a talent in that story. So he gives 5 talents to one servant. He gives 2 talents to another one, and he gives 1 talent to the third one. And he tells, okay, now I leave. So the first one decides to multiply the talents. So he goes out and he's trading and he gets 5 talents more, so he gets basically 10. Then another one also trades and he gets 2 more, so he has 4 in total. And the last one, he decides that, oh, my servant, my master gave me the talent, so I'm just going to keep it, so nothing going to happen to this. So when the master comes back, the servants go to him and say, okay, you gave me 5, so I give you 10 back. You gave me 2, I give you 4 back. And then the last one comes and says, you know what, I was so afraid that I would lose this, and I respect you so much that, see, I dig out the hole in the ground, so I kept this talent there, so I give you this, untouched. The master was really upset about the last one. And he said that you are so, you're too scared. You didn't do anything. The others took good care of those talents. And this is something I always tell to young people I meet in the regions. You can claim so much. You can have your speeches at the supras at your families. You can go on and post amazing status on Facebook, how incredibly amazing you are in your life, and how snob you are and how arrogant you are about other people, that you're so talented. that you have done something great, but you're not really doing anything with the knowledge you have. And I know so many young people there who are whining all day long saying that, well, I am this amazing, and that guy who's working in the company has nothing to do with how amazing I am, so I need to be on that place. So this is what I'm always saying to young people, that you have to really do your best to go out to seek for opportunities, because opportunities are out there. The moment you're wasting your time whining, there is another opportunity popping up, even on Facebook, on YouTube, the one that you're completely missing out. And something I always try to recommend to young people is that you have to always go for your dreams. You are the only person. Thank you very much for saying that. You might not know at the age of 17 what you want to do in your life, but there is a moment that your family or your friends or the society you live in is really trying to impose some of the things on you and say, like, no, you cannot become a diplomat because, none of people in this family, nobody in this family has been a diplomat. And I'm going to tell you my story now, which I haven't told to anyone outside the family. So my parents had this idea about me since I was 10 years old, that I had to become an amazing businessman, that I had to go and study marketing and finances, because they were saying, we'll get you a job. So we'll all be successful financial accountants and all that. So when I was going to pass the university exams, and I told them, no, I want to go into international service. And I had a really big laugh from my grandparents, from my parents, from my uncle, saying that, okay, yeah, right, your uncle is a diplomat, he's going to get you a job. Yeah, that's great. We have such a big history in our family, people who have done international service, so we'll help you, don't worry. They were so sarcastic, and they actually took the paper. Like back in days, we had to fill up the paper to take it to the university, 7 faculties that you had to have. So my parents, they sat down and they filled out the whole paper, listing the universities with business major and everything. I took this paper and I go to the Minister of Education. I was pretty young, and I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna take this paper there, I'm gonna be completely changing my life because someone wants to have a plan about what I'm gonna do. So instead of that, I throw away the paper, and I requested a new paper at the Minister of Education. And I filled out the paper. I wrote just social sciences, political science, international relations. And I passed exams very well. And then the day, so we get the call at home, and my parents were like, oh, there are exams, we need to go and check this on internet. And back then we had to dial 09, and you had to say your ID number and it would tell you. So I remember, my mother is dialing up, and the operator is saying, congratulations, your son took the first priority in the list. He's going to be studying at the Tbilisi State University, Faculty of Social and Political Sciences. I cannot recall what reaction they had. What did you get the first priority? They were and they called back the operator. They were like, there is a mistake. You will have to pay for this. You were saying completely wrong. We did not even fill that out. And I said, okay. This is what I did. And then my parents said, okay, we're not going to pay for your school. I said, okay, don't pay for my school. But they're eventually going to pay for your school visit. But my advice to you would be that if there is something that you want to do in your life, that there's so many things happening all around you. The life is the most amazing thing, really. You get opportunities and possibilities at every moment. And my advice to you would be just take every opportunity. Join ISEC. ISEC is an amazing place. The best people you meet are ISEC, and some people call us weird, but we're happy weirdos, that's fine. But yeah, if you have any questions about the UN or how you can be enrolled into the projects that I'm implementing, feel free to come by and chat. And yeah, I do look forward to spending this day with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lasha. Now I would like to call a person who is a mastermind behind everything that's going on today, Paulina Rogala, President of ISEC in Georgia.
Dear partners, dear colleagues, before I start, I would like to teach you one thing that is related a little bit to ISEC culture. So when I say, hey ISEC, you answer what's up. And when I say, how do you feel, you answer excellent, okay? So can we try? ISECers already know that, right? Hey ISEC! How do you feel? Excellent! Amazing, thank you very much. So once again, I would like to officially welcome our partners. It's an honor to see you all here today. I would like to welcome all the guests that have never heard about ISEC or heard about ISEC but are not part of the organization yet. And I would like to also welcome ISECers. There's one ISECer who has a birthday today, so happy birthday, Bruman. Yes. And recently I've been reading one post on the social media on Facebook, and it made me think a lot because a friend of mine posted something like that. I have just graduated, yay, so excited. I received my diploma. I cannot wait to start working in a McDonald's to make burgers and fries. So that made me think a lot because we studied the same faculty, right? So we both finished sociology, which by some people might be considered as a maybe not really specific faculty that might not be really, I don't know, beneficial for the future. But then by some people, it might be also considered as something that gives you a lot of different opportunities. And I'm a good example of the people who can use these opportunities, because if you look at me, some people might say that what am I doing right now might be considered as quite outstanding, because like I'm running the social enterprise right now in the age of 23 in a different country. So when we compare the person who can finish the same faculty and think about, I don't know, making French fries and burgers in McDonald's, but we can also think about the person who can take a lot of opportunities and really use whatever your university is giving you, other organizations, and a lot of activities that your countries have for you, then you are deciding about your future. So whatever you do right now and wherever you see yourself in the future, everything is in your hands. So that's why I'm very happy to see that many people today coming for our event, because I'm sure that this is a great opportunity for you to get some more practical skills and some more experience and the knowledge that you get only in university. So I would like to encourage you to start approaching people from representatives from our companies or people from organization as well, because they might give you some tips or they might give you some, I don't know, additional experience. So use this opportunity as much as you can. So hopefully you will enjoy the day. Hopefully you'll enjoy the trainings we prepared for you. So see you later on the closing and have a nice day. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go to the agenda right now. As you should know, we are all breaking up for 3 simultaneous workshops. So you should have a sticker on your badge which says which workshop you're attending. So the 3 workshops are self-confidence building and personal branding, run by Roy Woodward and Georgi Karnadze. There is a workshop on, well, go ahead, applause. Okay. What do you have to offer to the world and employees, run by Paul Clark. And the 3rd workshop is by Idea Hub on how to develop additional skills and keep motivation, led by Levan Bajat. So we are running a little bit of 15 minutes late, but the next session after the 3 workshops will start sharp at 1 p.m. still. So we will have keynote speeches then. So see you back here at 1.
Yeah, hello guys. Okay, please, as soon as you step outside, you can check the back of your badge, like badges which you have. There's a room number actually ticked on it.